G'day folks, I'm Groomes, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a video about how I remove the Tommy camper or the slide-down camper from the D-Max and set it up. And that's a full setup, so that'll be all the wings open, the back door open, the canopy up, or the bed up, the bed topper, the awning out, and the privacy screen or the shower curtain, whichever you want to call it, that comes out as well. So I've pulled up. My first job here is just to make sure there's no obstructions for the bolts that I have to remove. There's 4 bolts, each of them with lock nuts underneath. Just removing the latches to bring down the rear steps. That gives us access to them from the camper. This side on the camper that I have, a Tommy camper, is the kitchen and fridge. Just removing the tools from the floor of the back seat. Tools that I need for this are a drill, an impact rattle gun, and my socket set. Just looking for the battery for the electric drill. Bit of a mess in my back seat. Open up the tool roll there, and I've got everything any mechanic could ever want. Back in the old days, I'm actually a motor mechanic by trade. I didn't have this tool roll back then, but these are the same tools I used. Will be between 35 and 40 years ago now. Doesn't matter how many times I do this, I still have to look for the right size socket. Turns out it's a 5/8 head on the bolt, and the nut is a it was 11/16 or 17mm, I'm not sure which, something like that. I think it was 17mm. The whole job here takes me about, this video goes for 19 minutes and 26 seconds, so there you go, that's how long it all took. But the main part, just taking this back canopy off, is a lot shorter than that, and you can see I'm doing it at quite a casual pace, certainly not rushing. So this is the first 4 bolts. Make sure you hit that like button for me while you watch. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. That's number 1 bolt out. This trip I just carded the legs in the back, on the back floor there. If I'm doing a bigger trip and I'm taking the legs, I'll put the legs in the slide out drawer. They're about 10 kilos each, these legs. Just got the 3 prongs that slide up and a clip that keeps them on. That works very easily and very, very well. I'll just put these final 2 legs on the other side. A little bit closer on the way the legs attach to the canopy. Just get out of the shot now for a wide shot. It's all 4 legs on and they're ready to go. I've just got to get the 2 bolts out on this side. I use the rattle gun to get the bolts out. I use the drill to manoeuvre the legs. You're not supposed to use a rattle gun on the legs. That's why I cart the 2 of them around. That's the second nut and bolt removed. Always conscious of how I pack the van when I know I'm going to be removing the Tommy camper. It can be a challenge sometimes if you've packed too much on top of the bolts to manoeuvre everything out of the way before you even get to the bolts. The only thing I really had to move on this trip was that container there with all our kitchen stuff. This is the last bolt. It definitely is awkward, and you can get quick release latches for these campers. I'm definitely going to look into that. It's a much more simple approach to getting the canopy detached from the tray. Quick release catches. The bolts are definitely probably the safest option, but there's certainly a little bit more mucking around with the bolts than a quick release. The surface area that I'm going to jack the canopy up on is a soft sandy, well, I shouldn't say soft, it's probably it's certainly got a soft layer on top, but it's a hard enough surface underneath for me to be very confident that it's going to sit nice and level and not sink. "18-volt electric drill here. Just take that first plug I just took out is the power from the battery back to the canopy. The second plug, I've got 12 volts coming back from the battery that's in the canopy, the lithium setup, back into my camera charging station on the back seat. A few issues here removing that second one, so I just get a little flat blade screwdriver in there and it's out in no time. I'll move there. Now just drill the feet down. It's at this point I notice the drill's playing up a little bit. As soon as there's a little bit of weight on the drill, it stops, and it shouldn't. And I've used this plenty of times before, so I know it's not the actual drill. There's actually an issue with the drill. About here I start to get frustrated with my drill. I've worked out now that it's not the battery. In relation to the time it takes to get the canopy off the tray, it's whatever time it takes, which is about 15 minutes, 15 and a half minutes. Less probably a good minute and a half of mucking around with this drill, trying to get it to go. I couldn't, so I swap over to the impact or the rattle gun. When I bought the camper, one of the things the Sheldon from Tommy Campers told me is to use nice smooth drill on the legs and not a rattle gun. But I didn't have a choice.
You're not supposed to use a rattle gun, you're supposed to use a drill, but my drill's buggered. Just shit itself. This will have to do.
No problems at all lifting it up with my rattle gun. You can see it's about an inch and a half. Let's go back there. Now I've got to make sure the low point, which is the front of the camper, because of the hill that I'm on, will clear the back of the ute. The back's definitely up high enough now. Probably could have taken the front up just a smidge more, but there is enough height there. Just getting the wiring out of the way to make sure it doesn't get caught as I move the car away from the canopy. Put the back legs up so I can have a good look underneath and see that there is clearance. Start the old D-Max up and move her out. Nice slow manoeuvre out, and I've got the mirrors adjusted so I can actually watch for any movement in the canopy, and if there is movement I know it's not up high enough and I get out and move it up again. But as it was, it came out with a little bit of clearance, not a lot but a little bit, and that's all you need. I have a full video coming out probably in the next week or so of putting the canopy back onto the D-Max. So it'll be very similar to this in reverse. So it'll be a full pack up, so I'll go from my full camp setup to actually having it ready to drive away in the next video. So if you're interested, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for that one. Hit that bell notification, and as soon as it's posted you'll get a little notification. The back steps, the catches that or the clips that hold them in only work when the door's shut properly, and my door's open. So that it's on very loosely, and a little bit of movement and rattling and it drops down, as you could see. What I'm doing now is just winding the legs down so that it sits low and a little bit more steady, flat and nice and even with the way I want to lay at night. So I don't want to be laying with the blood rushing to my head or my feet. I want to be as flat as possible. I don't use a level for this, just my eye. So that's good enough. So I'm just giving it a shake now to make sure it's got good contact with ground on all the legs, and it has. And as a result of the little grade on the hill, I've made it so the back legs are slightly shorter than the front legs, giving me a fairly flat surface to lay. I'll move my trusty old milk crate because I'm vertically impaired down to the front. I'll start work on getting the awning out. The awning's a 30-second awning. There's a Velcro cap type thing on the front. You just take the Velcro off and you'll find the zips. Move that zip all the way along and the bag's open. Just as a matter of interest, we're camped at Freshwater Campground just south of Double Island Point. Taking the Velcro holders off the canopy there, grab the strap and just walk the 270-degree 30-second awning around. It really is an easy setup, this awning. It's very solid in a breeze. I reckon you're fairly safe up to about 15 knots. So I haven't got a designated eye for this strap, and I'm using the latch that holds the canopy roof down. Probably shouldn't do that, but it's a fairly solid latch and it certainly hasn't hurt it so far, but I will put a point on it at some stage so that it's got its own little spot. That's the pitch pole. That's permanently mounted on the awning there. You just wind it up or lever it up. Got good pitch on it now, so your leaves and your rain runs off. And that's the awning done. Just taking the latches off the canopy roof now. That's the kitchen that I've just opened up. Go inside here and I push up on the roof and it pops up. Huge clearance when that roof's up. You can sit directly upright in bed, no trouble at all, and you've got a good couple of metres squared down the end of the bed to standing room for getting changed. I've also got a pull-out table in there and a chair so I can do my editing and computer work. And that's where our little portaloo lives in there as well. Undid the zip and the Velcros for the fold-out shower. This is the last thing I need to do, and I'm all set up and ready to go and put the billy on. And that's pretty much it. If you got something out of this video, make sure you hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.